Welcome to Built Local, our 13th episode. Tonight we're excited to welcome a true Detroit institution. Founded in 1883, headquartered in Detroit's historic Eastern Market, Grobbel's has been serving customers for more than 140 years and is known across the country as America's oldest corned beef specialist. We're honored to have them on Built Local to share the story behind one of Detroit's most iconic family-owned businesses. Welcome to the show, Jason. How are you today?
Well, thank you. I'm great. Great to be here. And
we welcome you to the show. How has a family-owned company survived and thrived since 1883? So impressive.
Great question. A little bit of luck and some fate, but it is an incredible story. And we've had our family challenges,
Sure.
and at some point, we almost lost the business in the mid-'80s, and I ended up buying it out from the family members and rebuilding from there. So we're now the next generation is involved, and we're excited to look forward.
So we're looking at like the third or fourth generation, right?
So I'm fourth, and then my children are fifth generation already. Yeah.
Wow, such a story there.
Right.
What's the biggest change you've seen in the meat industry over the last 20 years, probably?
Well, I would say emphasis on food safety is a big one.
Sure.
Really, and I think that's a great testament to the demands of consumers and regulators working together and the industry.
Sure.
And we love that because we're always focused on that all the time. And
Sure.
Cleanliness is next to godliness, and that's the way we
Sure,
are.
you got it down to a science after all
We
these years,
surely
right?
do, yes.
How important is Eastern Market to your identity as a company?
Oh, it's fantastic. It is. We have one of our three facilities there. We have another distribution center in Taylor, and then we have a new processing center out in St. Clair Shores. But the Eastern Market has always been the core, but it hasn't always been.
Okay.
The original market was actually the Central Market, right downtown. Campus Marshes.
Yeah.
The CompuWare
Sure.
building and all of that. So that was the original market. They closed that market.
Okay.
In 1925, so they kicked us out, and we had to move. We moved to the Eastern Market at that time.
Wow.
Because we were founded in 1883, actually, and so interestingly, the shed from the old Central Market went to Belle Isle.
No kidding.
And then it fell in disrepair because it wasn't being maintained, and so it was taken down for safety reasons. And then during the city's reorganization, it was sold to Greenfield Village for $1. They took it and beautifully restored it there.
Wow.
So as part of their, so it's
I
kind
love
of a
history.
nice little,
Never
little
knew
side
that.
note, yeah.
Well, they say Grobbel's is the king of corned beef here in Detroit. Like, what makes Detroit style corned beef unique?
Oh, great question. Corned beef really is two traditions in America. There's the Jewish American tradition,
Sure.
and the Irish American
right,
tradition, right? And neither of them were in the Old World because beef wasn't predominant in Europe. So it really became a thing here when immigrants came to America on both of those groups.
Sure.
And so the Irish style, which we make both, and we also make the Cy Ginsberg corned beef as well, and which is really the deli style, the true deli restaurant style,
Gotcha.
I should say. And so not like the service deli in the supermarket. I mean the deli restaurant style. And the difference is that's a drier corned beef, not as juicy. It's got more towards garlic and onion in it. And it's great for piling high on a huge Reuben sandwich. Now, you could do that with the Irish style as well.
Sure.
But that's a little more juicy, more of the pickling spices, and it's aromatics, and that is also suited for the center of the plate, having a corned beef dinner.
Right.
Both go great in either role.
Of course.
But those are at their prime.
Well, I got to ask you this: how many pounds of corned beef does Grobbel produce annually?
Yes, somewhere in the area of 30 to 40 million pounds.
Wow,
And,
that's a lot.
And by the way, we do more than corned beef now. We do a full line of deli meats from turkey, and with our new facility and roast beef and pastrami, with our new facility coming open in St. Clair Shores, we'll also be adding spiral hams and premium gourmet sausages and hot dogs. So that's exciting.
Fantastic.
New expansion
So
for us.
expanding,
Right?
your product line a little bit. Well, you brought something interesting up too, Jason, on how we talked, pre-show about how your food really brings families together, and it's I'll let you elaborate on that, but you said it so eloquently perfect that it brought me back to my childhood.
I
And
know, right.
The aromas and the family get together. So expand on that a little bit. What Grobbel's brings to that.
So we like to say that we're not allowed to be food snobs, and so there are food critics, and their job is to evaluate foods, and that's a great thing to do. But you have to be careful that we're not a food snob, because the foods that people love aren't what the critics love. It's what each one of us individually love, and we love that from our experiences when we were 6 years old.
So true.
Or in that area, and we had these wonderful meals with a positive emotions with our families.
So true.
And when that then, because we're associative beings, whenever we experience those foods again later in life, it brings us back there. Even if it doesn't bring us back to direct memory, it still brings us right back to that emotion.
And I bet you the Grobbel Christmas parties were pretty fantastic, right?
Well, we like to say, yes, absolutely. And one of the fun things in the Grobbel's product, because of the pickling spice we talked about earlier, it's somebody's job to make sure every package has a spice packet in there, which is so crucial, because that brings, when you're cooking the corned beef and you put that in there, we put a lot of spices already in the meat, but that adds a little bit more. But what it really also does is helps bring the aroma around your home as you're cooking it, and that's what triggers those fun emotions. So you're gonna just have a great evening anytime you're cooking a Grobbel's corned beef.
Well, what's the biggest misconception people have about the meat processing industry, if there is one?
Boy, oh boy. There's lots. I think that it's fun to attack, although, as I said earlier, we're going to be starting to make hot dogs and sausages. It's fun to attack them as bits and pieces, as if there's something wrong with it. In actuality, the people who are saying it have no idea. They've never been in a meat processing plant. Sure. No, we all use the very fine ingredients and only wholesome cuts. Whether we're serving them in whole form, like a roast form, whether it be a roast beef or a cut of brisket in the corned beef, or we're grinding it, chopping it up for a sauce, premium, Italian style or Polish sausage, or even a wonderful hot dog. And regardless of what we do, I'm excited of where we're moving as a nation towards healthier foods and minimizing the ingredients, keeping it clean, because we don't need excess sugars, we don't need all the excess preservatives and such. And if you're making things in a very cleanliness environment where all of the team members, and I want to talk about all of our team members are highly engaged, but that doesn't happen by accident. And so as a result, we prepare foods in a way where we don't need to put the preservatives in, because everything's prepared correctly. How do we do that? Well, one way is we focus on each individual, and our real focus is to help them grow personally and professionally.
It's fantastic.
And while on the side, we make great food products. And so
it's a culture.
It becomes that culture. And also it's a culture of respect, where we're always protecting the nest, and we're intolerant of disrespect. That's the only thing we're intolerant of. And so when it happens, look, God made us all a little bit different, right? But we're in categories. So there's people who are more assertive and people who are less assertive.
Sure.
We can't let the assertive ones
take over the less
take
assertive.
over, exactly. And
Makes
that's
sense.
what great leadership is about on every team. It's whether it's a sports team, a great company, or even a family, right?
I would agree with you.
It's
And,
important.
They say I own a small business myself. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with.
Sure.
And, if you create that culture of quality, which really, brings me to my next question. How do you maintain quality while supplying customers nationwide?
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do.
It's only not easy unless you do what we just were talking about.
Right.
So if people are engaged, then they want to do it and they understand. When we talk about it, when we're making every piece that we're preparing, as it's down the line, that each employee knows that next step could be into the mouths of their own family could purchase
Makes
that.
sense.
So it's when people are really engaged and thinking about what they're doing, they make great choices. And then, of course, we use appropriate technology, and we also have a lot of support. I actually wrote a book on this.
Oh, wow.
It's called Leading America Back to Work. It's available on Amazon and Audible.
So you're an author, too. That's fantastic.
Yeah. That came out in about 2017. But
Okay.
that really just talks about that culture. And it's whether you're running a company or you work for one, it's good to understand the concepts in that book because it lets you know what you should either be doing or expecting in that role.
I'll take your word for it, being open for as long as you've been and successful as long as Grobbel's has been. Obviously, you've created a culture that is efficient, that brings quality, dedicated employees, investing in your employees. I mean, that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, it is. But I can tell you this, it's also a selfish thing on my part because I get, because we're doing that, it never gets boring. So I get to go to work every day. I'm excited to see other people do well. And guess what? I'm learning too.
Sure.
And I'll never stop learning. So we all get to do that together. And another really cool thing is Grobbels can never be sold. So we put in a structure so it's not like it's going to be turned around for the next big thing for the next 5-10 generations more.
Fantastic.
So we're excited.
Oh, that's great. Something to definitely be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, Jason, what does Made in Detroit mean to your company?
Well, it means a lot because Detroit is an amazing place, and I think it's the greatest city in America for the next 20 years because Detroit has all of the wonderful amenities of a major city.
Yeah.
But part of its legacy, and yes, we had to bear the embarrassment of the fires and things over the last 40 years. But the cool thing about that is that has created the city where people are spread out a little more.
Great.
And people are I like to say, if you ever use an air compressor, when you compress it, the gas gets hot.
Sure.
And that's the way people are.
Yeah.
When we're compressed, we tend to we can conflict more.
Absolutely.
Detroit is set up for success because it has all the amenities, but it's not as overcrowded like some of the other major cities in America. So that's an exciting time. Mm-hmm. But there's so many other cool things. Number one, we do, because we've worked with Walmart for so long and many other great companies, but we have all the data to ship our products all over the nation. And we've shown over and over again, there is no better single place to supply the entire country than from Detroit. The Detroit area.
Such an interesting stat.
And
I would never think that.
I know it doesn't because it's not just where the center of the country is, but where the center of population mass. You got to really understand that. And, it centers more towards, I'm not saying it's on Detroit, but then the other positive factors is, and one of the benefits with the trucking, with the auto industry, is trucking in and out of Detroit is very easy relative to other places like Chicago or certainly New York. It's difficult to get in and out.
Sure.
So that makes it a great asset there. Then there's another thing. Michigan is a fantastic agricultural state. It's in, it's up there. I mean, it's not number 1 through 5,
Sure.
but it's high on the list. But we only further process less than 15% of that volume right here in Michigan.
So low.
Other states are doing all of our further processing. And food jobs are some of the most upwardly mobile jobs, too. People can get in at the ground level, start and learn that, and they're more, it's much easier to climb that ladder than almost any other industry. So we have a great opportunity to keep growing that, like I said, whether you're starting a food business, I encourage, or you want to get in and work at one, you'll be making a great decision. And finally, Detroiters, there's something special about Detroiters.
Agreed.
We're some of the most authentic people in this country, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
I would agree
of
with you
course,
on
it's
that.
just my opinion. So if you don't,
Definitely on your team with that one.
yeah.
I agree. And, obviously you're passionate about the city, and obviously it's supported you in some way, obviously, and you employ a lot of employees, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
You kind of answered a lot of this, but what are you most excited about for the future of Grobbel's? Like, what if there's one thing? I know we talked about you expanding product lines. That's obviously exciting.
Yeah.
Obviously, you put a lot of energy into your company,
Right.
which I'm sure employees see and appreciate. If you could put one thing or name one thing, what would be that?
Well, if it's one thing, there's no contest. It's building this team and inviting more Detroit area folks into our business and to our family. It's really our family. We're one big family, and so and seeing each one of us achieve our greatest potential within the confines of the gifts that God gave us.
That's right.
You see, a good example of that is telling our youth that they can do anything they want to do is not a responsible approach.
I would agree with you.
Telling them that they can do anything that they want to do within the framework of the gifts that God gave them.
Sure.
Now that second part of that is critical.
Sure.
And now all they got to do is figure out what those things are. I heard an interesting story just the other day about a fish doesn't need to take swim lessons. It just swims.
Just swims.
A bird doesn't need to take flying lessons.
Just flies.
It just flies. But if you put a fish on land, it's very awkward. And if you try to put the bird in the water, unless it's that kind of bird, it's very awkward. So people are like that too. And when we're doing what God made us to do, then we're gonna soar.
I think
And when we don't,
right.
we're going to be miserable. In many cases, we're going to develop resentment.
Sure.
And frustration, and we don't know why, but it's only because, and that's why one of the greatest professions in this world is guidance counseling, believe it or not.
I would believe that.
Yeah.
I think you hit the head on the nail. I mean, people really need to identify and figure out what their gifts are,
Right.
and then expand on that, work hard towards your goals. And obviously, you've got a great setup where you encourage your employees, and you've got that down to science. You wrote a book.
I want to say something about how to find those gifts.
Please,
it could be scary because if you tell a kid also, hey, you just got to find what you love to do. Well, that's horrifying,
It's not a
because
roadmap
how
to-
do I know how to find that?
Sure.
So here's the cool news. You don't have to do it that way. Whatever, just get a job and work.
Sure.
And work with gratitude. That may not be the thing you do, but you'll find
It'll lead
into it automatically. So you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure this out. You just need to keep moving forward,
Keep grinding.
working hard, and being grateful in the process and serving others. Rather than thinking about yourself, put out more than you expect to get back. And someday you'll get back more than you ever dreamed possible.
That's great advice, and obviously key to success. Tell me, Jason, how many restaurants are serving Grobbel products today, roughly?
That's a great question. Because we go through all the big major restaurant distributors,
yeah, right.
you know,
Really
but it's hundreds, 100,000 restaurants, right? 50,000 anyway, at least.
And how far do your products travel? Across
All
50 states?
all over the nation, yes.
Wow,
yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, and both in, like I said, restaurant and supermarkets. We're in every Walmart, every Sam's Club, every public store, and many other chains and smaller independents locally in this market, Bush's and Hollywood, and on and on. And we
Impressive.
On the Cy Ginsberg side, one of our really great partners, many amazing delis throughout Southeast Michigan, and of course throughout the rest of the country.
Sure.
But Zingerman's is also a big, has right from the get-go. Cy Ginsberg has been a huge part, supplier and presence there.
Sure.
So those are just some examples.
So we already know what the most popular product is. It's your corned beef, it sounds like. Here's an interesting question. How's the restaurant industry changed since COVID?
Great question. Of course, at first it was very difficult on that side and everything. And then the supermarkets were completely overwhelmed because food in America is consumed roughly 50% supermarket and 50% restaurant. Mm-hmm. Well, during that time, it just shifted like 80-20, and it was overwhelming and very, very painful for the restaurant business. But the restaurants that did well are the ones that pivoted,
adapted
to drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
And
smart.
But I noticed some they got halfway, but unfortunately missed it without prepayment. So many had a drive-through or pickup, but you still had to go in and pay.
Yeah.
And so it really ruined that whole thing. So the key is drive-through with prepayment. So you could basically just, drive by,
pay,
almost not even come to a full stop with the car, grab the bag out the window.
And then you see the DoorDashes and the Uber drive delivery, and it's interesting.
And since then, yes, of course, that's all really expanded, and many folks from COVID. Another interesting thing is, older folks who were afraid to use the technology, all of a sudden they love it now. So because they had to, right?
We're a nation of convenience, aren't we?
We are.
Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Where do you see Grobbel in 10 years in your vision?
Sure. Well, as I said before, it's about we'll be double the size we are now, and we're primarily because we've been a specialist for so long, and now that we're getting into a more wide range of food products, we have a distribution of a company 10 times our size. Right. So we, even through our own customer base, we have tremendous growth because we're getting into those things that I said, like spiral hams and gourmet sausages and hot dogs and other innovative things. And we're always looking for innovative products, but we also we're not jumping at the latest fad either.
Yeah, of course.
We don't do that. But we want to see where it really is seriously making sense and shift that. I recommend for anybody, whatever business you're in, or even as any endeavor you're in, because we are all, listen to me, people, we are all the CEO of Me, Inc.
That's right.
And so we all have our own, we all run our own company in a way. And the secret to being successful in life is finding a need and filling it. And the rest will come. The rewards will come.
Yeah. To me, being a small business owner, it's about the journey, right? It's about the struggle starting from here and scaling, and and I'm a big fan of the way you look at how you treat your employees and the culture. And, I try to do that too. We give employees the autonomy to make some decisions, empower them a little bit. And it's been a key to even my success too, at some level. But love to read your book, accomplished author, clearly a astute business owner here. Jason, it's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining Build Local.
I'm honored to be here.
We'll see you next time. Thanks.
See you.